Hello, and welcome to How to Crochet. I am your teacher, Tobias Lorraine. I hope you're all prepared to learn how to crochet. But to crochet, what will you need? It's actually really easy. All you need is wool and some crochet hooks. You'll find those in your lovely little Today is Perfect crochet set. As you can see, I have many hooks in here, but you'll need some other things as well. You may need some scissors. These are from my little Today is Perfect crochet set. See if you can find the scissors in your Today is Perfect crochet set. Did you find them? Well done if you did. Now, what else will you need to crochet? You might also need stitch markers for your crochet. Stitch markers are these little clip things here, and at the moment I'm using this on a project I'm making for my friend. You can use them to mark which stitch you need to focus on, so they're very important. See if you can find the stitch markers in your Today is Perfect crochet set. Did you find them? Well done if you did. Put them back because you don't want to lose them. Finally, you may also need needles. These are some from my Today is Perfect crochet set. See if you can find your needles in your Today is Perfect crochet set. Did you find it? Well done if you did. Also, you'll find a tape measure in your Today is Perfect crochet set. And that might come in useful sometimes, but you'll probably find that you don't need it for most projects. So, what are we going to learn first? First, we need to know which size hook to use for our project. Different wool comes in different lengths and different thicknesses, and you need to find the right thickness of your hook to match the right thickness of your wool. For example, here we have some super chunky wool with little bits of colour inside there. It's quite cute. I like this wool. And in order to crochet it properly, we're going to need to use a relatively thick crochet hook. Oh, hang on, let me pause the video right there. Okay, so here we have some super chunky wool. Let's try a little pop quiz. Which size hook do you think we should use for the super chunky thick wool we have right here? Is it A, the 3mm hook? Here's, you can see if it focuses. It's not going to focus. There you go, the 3mm hook. Is it B, the 5mm hook? You can see it there. Or is it C, the 7mm hook? That's right, we're going to use C, the 7mm hook. And the reason I could tell that is because before I asked you, I checked the height and width of the wool and how comfortably it rested inside the hook. This one, the 7mm, seems to rest fairly well inside it. It's not going over the hook and it's not tucked right in at the end. The 5mm hook can barely fit it in. It's not enough. And the 3mm hook, we don't have a chance. It's being devoured by the wool. That's not going to be any good. Anyway, so for this wool, we're going to use the 7mm hook because it fits comfortably with the wool. You might find that some wool you use will tell you on the label which size hook to use. For example, this one says to use a 6mm hook. Here is my 6mm hook, but as you can see, the hook is much bigger than the yarn. In my opinion, it's too big, and we'll get to why later. So you don't always trust the label. Always go with how comfortably it feels in your hand, okay? So, you want to start crocheting. Well, this is when the fun begins. Take the end of your wool, and I want you to make a slip knot. The way you do that is by first creating a loop with the yarn. Then, with the long end, go over the loop, and by pinching what's called the tail, pinching the tail, pull the yarn that's gone over the circle through. Now you see this loop that we've just made? Grab onto these, the tail and the long end, and pull it like that. That's a slip knot. Okay? Well done. Leave a little loop there because we're going to need that in a minute. But I'll show you one more time. We start with just the yarn. We make a loop. We take the end that's attached to the rest of your yarn and we go over or under, doesn't matter, the circle. We pinch a hold of the tail and we pull this one through the loop. Okay? Well done if you did that at home. If you didn't, try harder next time. Once we've got our little slip knot buddy here, we're going to take the hook that we've measured out before. Do you remember which size hook I'm using? That's right, the 7mm hook. Take your hook and put it through the hole. Then pull on the tail to tighten the slip knot around the hook. Can you do that? Remember, you take the hook, put it through the hole, and then tighten by pulling the tail or the long end until the knot tightens around the hook so it sits comfortably. We have one loop on the hook. Now we're going to start crocheting, guys. So here's how I hold the crochet, and different people hold it differently. You might find that it's a bit uncomfortable for your hand, but this is just the way I've gotten used to it. With your thumb and your ring finger, pinch the tail. This is really important that you're constantly pulling on the tail. Then, with your middle and index finger, pull in the opposite direction the yarn that's attached to the rest of the ball of wool. This should make this area that the hook is rubbing up against nice and tight. You can use that to loop the hook around and pull it through the slip knot. And you've just done a crochet. Did you get that? I'll go over it again to make it really nice and clear. Oh, hang on, I forgot to pause. So, we have our hook in the slip knot. With the thumb and ring finger pulling on the tail, and the index and middle finger pulling on the rest of the yarn in opposite directions to make this area tight. Let me just tighten it. There we go. Loop the hook around the yarn and pull it through the slip knot. Well done. See if you can do it again. You can move it up so that it's a little easier. You hold what you've just done with your thumb and ring finger. between your middle and index finger, you hold the rest of the yarn. Loop the hook around the yarn and pull it through the stitch that you've just made. This wool is not being very cooperative, but I hope yours is being better at home. There we go. We did it. Can you go again? This time, you tell me what we do. What's the first step? Right, so we hold it correctly. Make sure this area is nice and tight. Well done. And then we loop the hook around the yarn and pull it through the stitch we've just made. We're crocheting, guys. This is so cool. You're crocheting really well. I wonder if I can put some brightness on to make this a bit clearer. Boom. Oh, wow. That would have helped a long time ago, I'm sure. Just to make sure we've really got it with a nice brightness on, we pull on the tail between our ring and thumb, and we keep the rest of the yarn nice and tight between our middle and index finger. Then we loop the hook around the yarn and pull it through the stitch we've just made. Well done. We take the yarn, loop it around the wool and through the stitch we've just made. We're making our first row of crochet. See if you can do this a little bit longer. Doop-a-doo, doop-a-doo. Doing really well. Look at you go. Take me through the steps again one more time. Rehearsal is very important for learning. You go around the wool and through the stitch you've just made. This will take a lot of practice, but you'll get there. Keep it up. After a little while of crocheting, you'll have a nice long line like this. This means you're doing really well, but let's take it up a notch. So, taking your crochet to the next step. You've got a nice long line, but you're probably wondering, I want to learn how to crochet vertically, not just horizontally. Well, we'll manage that right now. I want you to take your work and then flip it. My hand is in the way. Flip it around so that the wool, the tail, is facing the opposite direction. Yeah? Now, I want you to flip it this way. And this means that the yarn and the tail are going in the same direction like that. Ooh, beautiful. And your hook is facing this side, basically so you can see what I can see right now. Good job. You're doing really well. Really, really well. Now, in order to go up a row, we do another single crochet like that. Then we take our hook. This is where it gets really nice and fiddly, so keep close concentration. We take the hook, and in this hole here, the last hole that we've just done, we poke it through. You ready? Ready to poke it through? Ooh, this one's kind of tight. Pop. Goes through like that. Then we wrap the hook around the yarn and pull it back through that loop. We've got 2 loops on the hook now. Because we've got 2 loops on the hook, this is what's called in UK crochet double crochet now. We take the yarn and we pull it through both of those loops. And we've increased. See? Look at that vertical crocheting going on there. Oof, we're doing good. We're doing really good. Let's see if we can continue. Take the hook and put it through the next row, the next hole along. We've got one there. There's the next one here. Okay, we've just been in this one. So now this is the next one. Wonder if I can get an even better shot of this if it decides to focus. We've just come up through here. This one is the next hole. After we've done that one, we go into there, then there, then there, then there, and so on and so forth. You'll have to forgive me. I just got back from helping my mother. But, oh, hang on, the gerbils are running. Okay, so as I was saying, I'm not quite sure where I got to, but we were doing double crochet. Let's try it again. Are you ready? We take the hook and we go into the next hole. Here we go. Let's go into. Oop, seems a little funky, huh? Into the next hole. Right? Get a good look at that. We're in. Now, pulling the yarn tight, we wrap it around and pop. Through we go. How many loops do we have on the hook? That's right, 2 of them, which means that's right, double crochet now. We loop the yarn around the hook and we pull it through both of those loops. You're doing really good at this. Well done. Now, again, through the next loop along, pull the yarn around and pull it back through. You're getting so good at this. Well done. Should we try again? We go through the next loop, pull the yarn around, and back through. Ugh, this yarn is quite tough to deal with, but I hope you're following along well at home. You should get some kind of pattern like this. And along the top, you can see these nice, pretty little V shapes. Well done, if you see that. Pop quiz. Where is the next hole that we're going to crochet into? Can you see it along here? That's right, this little hole right there. Let's take, oh, look at that, it's focusing so beautifully. We take the hook, push it through that hole, wrap the yarn around, pull it out so that we have 2 loops. Then we wrap the yarn around again and pull it through both of them. You're doing amazingly. We take the hook, go into the next hole, pop, wrap it around the yarn and pull it back through that hole. Then, having 2 loops on the hook, we wrap it around the yarn and we go through both of those loops. You're doing so good. Remember, you do this for basically every stitch except the first row. Okay? And that's how we get it from just the bottom row to the next row up. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and finish this row and I'll catch up with you after that. Hello, we meet again at the end of the row. This is the end of the second row, and I can tell that because I've met back up with my tail and there's no hole for me to crochet into this time. So what do I do? Well, the same as before, we need to take it up to the next step, the next level. We do that at the end of each row by doing a single crochet. Pop quiz. Let me undo that real quick. How do we know this is a single crochet? That's right, because there's only a single loop that we're pulling the yarn through. Well done. You know, you're getting quite smart at this crochet business. So we've done a single crochet. We then flip it around and maneuver this bit around. Let me make this a bit clearer, hang on. we were in this position, right? We've got to flip the piece over and the yarn around so that the yarn and the piece are facing in the same direction, and it's going to be easy for us to crochet into that next stitch down there. You might even find that twisting the hook around, oh yeah, that's beautiful, makes it a lot easier to find. Now we've got to crochet into the next hole. You're probably wondering, how do I find the next hole, right? It's a lot easier on the third row. That's because there's these beautiful little V shapes, right? I think if I pull it up, oh, I love when it focuses. These little V shapes are really going to help you find where to crochet into. This one is the first V shape, okay? So we take our hole and we put it underneath. Ooh, focus, come on, you can do it. Oh, well done. We're going to put it through beneath these two lines that make the V. We take the hook, twizzle it round, and force it in there. Pop. There we go. It's gone through both sides of that V shape. Once again, twist the yarn around, pull it up and through so we have 2 loops on the hook. Twist the yarn around again and pull that yarn through both of those loops. We then, look for the next V shape. There it is. Look at it. So handsome. We poke the hook through. Push. There we go. Twizzle the yarn and pull it through that V. We have 2 loops on, so we're going to double crochet by twisting the yarn around the hook and pulling it through both of those loops. And then we do the same thing along here. When we get to this end, we single crochet to go up to the next step, twizzle it around, well done, and then we double crochet back along to here, and then you go back and forth, up and up and up, until you have a piece. And that, my friends, is the basics of how to crochet. Well done. You've done well. Let's have a quick recap. So, when you're choosing the yarn and the hook size, what do you need to bear in mind? That's right, you need to find the right hook size for the right size wool. This brown wool is a lot thinner, although it doesn't show up very well on the camera. This brown wool is a lot thinner than this thick blue wool. I think it shows up a little bit better there. So for the brown wool, I've been finding that this pretty little yellow hook is quite a decent size. Let's see if that can focus. It really can't. Come on, buddy. Oh, there you go. That's pretty decent size for it. Okay? For this blue wool, I might say that this orange hook. Oh yeah, that's a fairly decent size. Ooh, is it gonna focus? There we go. Again, that's fairly comfy. I feel happy with that. Okay? To start a crochet, we begin with a slip knot. That means making a loop with the wool, taking the long piece, hello, underneath or over the top of the loop, pinching the tail and pulling that through. I've done that incredibly wrong. Let's try again. Make a loop, beautiful loop. Then, if you like, it might be easy to do it with the tail. Put the tail over the front, pull that through the loop, and then, we have our slip knot. Well done. I'm going to do it one more time, just to make it really clear, because I kind of messed that one up. We have our loop, go under, and pull it through. Then we can pull the tail to tighten and make our slip knot. Now, for crocheting, take your hook through the hole, tighten it around. We go under, around, and pull it back through. That's a single crochet that we need to do for the first row. Let's see if we can focus in nice and close. Come on, look at my beautiful little fingers. Come on, camera. Come on, you can do it. There we go. We go under, around, and pull it through. Under, around, and pull it through. This is how we do the first row of crochet. Well done. You're doing so well. To go up a notch, or up to the next level, we do another one, twist it around, and we poke the yarn through that stitch, through that first hole. Whee! Into there. This is going to be really difficult whilst filming. Okay, well I just lost that. There we go. Let's take it through. This is very fiddly. I'm so sorry for this quick recap. This isn't a very quick recap. Oh, I almost had it. Oh, come on, you can do it. Whoocha! There we go. And then, once we've got it through, loop around and pull it through the first one. Then, loop around again, and the second one. You're doing so good at this. Take it. Do you not? I think by now you've probably got it. You get the idea. This was a highly successful and very fantastic lesson in how to crochet. And I hope you're feeling good about yourself because you did well. You get an A star. Well done. I am proud of you. Good job.